Hey, hello, and welcome back to my AuthorTube channel. I am Autumn Ashley, and today is going to be another writing vlog. So today is Saturday, July 9th, and I did not do any writing since my last vlog ended. I'm still on chapter 9, still working through that chapter, and I have a couple of hours that I can dedicate to writing today, so that's what we're going to do. It is a little past 11:30. I want to obviously make progress in chapter 9, but specifically I need to work on character development and continue to drive that wedge between my characters. In my last vlog, I talked about my characters experiencing some turmoil and things that are going to disrupt the peace between those characters. Right now, I want to continue to push those characters further apart because once we get to Act 2, they're going to have to work together. So hopefully I can continue to sabotage the relationships between my characters. I think I have maybe a page and a half-ish left to write for chapter 9. I know that means literally nothing to you. I want to do a first sprint of 20 minutes to get back into the story, to bullet point some things that I want to happen for this next chapter, and then we're going to dive in. In my last vlog, I also talked about where I hit a little bit of a speed bump, and how I got out of that was, one, I talked to one of my writing friends, and two, I ended up outlining a little bit of that next scene and the next chapter and some of the big bullet points that I wanted to happen throughout the rest of Act 1. I really liked that, and I feel like that worked very well. So I want to continue with doing that and maybe get a little more structure, a few more bullet points. So when I sit down to write a specific chapter, I have more to work on than the vague outline that I have. Let's dive a little bit deeper and try to find bullet points that are more in the nitty-gritty. I feel like that's been working since my outline might be a little too vague, but I still want to give myself that creative freedom of discovering this first draft. So that's what I'm going to work on for the next couple of hours. I will update you guys as necessary. But right now, let's start on that. I'm going to listen to my Burning Roses playlist and get some work done. I know that there are a few sprints going on today, and hopefully I'll be able to just hop in to support some of those authors and then get some writing done. So I'll see you soon.
You look at me like I'm crazy when I shut my feelings out. You look at me like I'm different, still you stay cause you feel something real. Get so lost in my moments, doesn't mean I don't need you.
So it's several hours since my last update. Ignore the bun that's on the top of my head. I was in the zone, so I had to put my hair up. Today in total, I did the 120-minute sprint. And then I showed you guys me starting to do one 20-minute sprint, but then my significant other came over and ruined that streak. So I was only able to write for 11 minutes for that second sprint. I did one 28-minute sprint. I'm still working on chapter 9, but chapter 9, this is the reason why I love writing fantasy. I have my characters moving through this swampy area together, and I have them all split up into groups right now, and they're being somewhat tested. This is part of the trials that we're going to talk about in the second act. So we're still gearing up my characters to get there, but there's a part that's happened where one of the characters has been somewhat put under a spell. It's causing him to hallucinate and then also spill out some information. We have to quickly save this character and problem solve. I'm digging this chapter. I'm really liking it. So I know in my previous vlog, I talked about my characters and I talked about the lack of subplots and character development and character interactions. Well, I've been trying to hammer that into this chapter and then the previous chapter, chapter 8. I've been trying to hammer that in to help me out and to beef up the story a little bit. And it feels like it's paying off. I feel like I have a lot of interactions between the characters and the world with the characters. It feels much better than how it has been. I'm loving it. We're going to continue this streak. I want to do a few more writing sprints. Hopefully I can. So let's do a 25-minute sprint. We did it. I finished chapter 9, and that chapter was incredibly long. It contains 3 scenes, but each of those scenes probably should be their own chapter because they are extremely long. In this whole chapter, there's a lot that goes on. So in chapter 9, my characters are trying to get to a destination that they've been told to go to. They ran into a speed bump obviously, because it's never that easy. They had a fight, not to the death, but that's kind of how the chapter ends. I am very proud of this chapter. I just want to share my last line of chapter 9 just because I want to. My last line is this. She jumped through the clearing and was ready to embrace the hard ground, but instead she dove headfirst into water and felt Adrian's hands close around her neck. Perfect ending to a decent chapter. I need to take a break now. I have been writing. I wrote a lot today. I don't know if I'm going to write any more for today. For this week, I have written 3 days, so I hit my goal. And since I've hit the day goal, I was trying to work towards pushing myself a little bit closer to trying to hit the 4-hour goal. I don't know if I am there because I don't know if I'm going to keep writing. It's a little past 6 o'clock and I need to do some other things for today. Very proud of this chapter and where Act 1 is headed. I know I was a little nervous there for a little while. I wasn't quite sure how it was all going to play out.
Drive. Do you know I'm looking and I can't help but smile? Do you know how much I love you? You put my favorite song on, I put my feet up and we just sing along, and I can't help but feeling just loving this moment. Can we stay here?
I'm vlogging. Why does this feel like a horror movie? And here we go.
If I could stop the time, don't you know that I would? 'Cause
there's a mysterious door here. What's here? Oh, no, no way. Screw that.
Forever you as you sleep. You don't know I'm looking. With you everything's complete. Do you know how much I love you? I put your favorite song on.
Hello, good morning. It is Wednesday, July 13th, and we've had a lot of things that have been going on within the last couple of days, so I want to catch you guys up with that as well as with all of the writing stuff. Oh, I didn't do the math. Hang on one second. So I did the math for the total number of hours that I wrote for last week. And if you've been following along in my journey since June, you saw my Camp Nano video, but you don't quite remember. I had the camp goal of writing for either 3 days in a week or for 4 hours, whichever one came first. The week of Sunday, July 3rd to Saturday, July 9th, that was my first full week of Camp Nano, of me keeping track of my goals. And I'm doing this instead of doing word counts or doing a number of chapters and things like that. It's been working for me. Last week, I wrote for 3 days. I wrote on July 4th, July 7th, and July 9th. And I wrote a total number of hours for 3 hours and 11 minutes, which means I kicked ass last week. That's the highest that I've written. The closest that I wrote to that was the week before, and I wrote for 3 hours. Exactly. So that was really awesome that I'm slowly starting to inch towards the hourly goal for the week, which is 4 hours. I'm really proud of that. I'm proud that we are moving upward and trying to reach the hourly goal in addition to hitting my daily goal, the number of days in a week that I write. Today is July 13th. It's a Wednesday. We are halfway through the second week, which means I have written on July 10th, which was Sunday, and I only did one 15-minute sprint. So the first 3 days of the week, which was Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I went to a wedding, but the wedding was not around here. I did one sprint on the 10th, and even though it was just a 15-minute sprint, I did end up starting chapter 10. I need to finish my coffee. I need to eat something and then reread what I've written, and then I can talk to you guys about it. I just finished reading a little bit of chapter 9 and a little bit of chapter 10. What I'm going to start working on is the rest of chapter 10. In this chapter, I want them to reach this village finally and spend this next chapter, the next chapter and a half, talking about what is going on in this village and how they are going to fix it, or whatever is happening, have them find a solution. So that's what we're going to be working on now. Hopefully I can finish chapter 10 today. That's going to be a stretch considering I'm only a couple of pages into it. I've only spent 15 minutes writing this chapter, and that was on Sunday. I'm going to listen to my playlist, put it on the TV, and have it blaring. And that's what we're gonna do for the next couple of hours. We are gonna start with a 20-minute sprint, even though I've already read through everything, but just to get out the gate, we're going to start with a 20-minute sprint. Hopefully I can ramp it up as we go on, and maybe I can do a couple 25-minute sprints. But we've got a 20-minute sprint on the clock. Here we go. Okay, I have one more sprint to go before I want to give you guys an overall update of what all I've been working on. But it's noon now, so we've got one more sprint. I'm gonna do 123-minute sprint. Then we're going to call it quits for today, or at least for now. I've been going really hard at this and I'm kind of feeling it, but I wanted to finish strong. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish chapter 10 today, but I feel totally confident that if I do 1 or 2 more sprints after this sprint, we could finish it. I could totally finish this chapter. We're going to push out this final sprint, and then I will give you guys a big old rundown of everything that your girl's been working on. One more sprint. We got this. Wish me luck, and I'll see you soon. It's 12:26 and I just finished the last sprint for today probably. I'm feeling pretty good. I really do want to keep going, but I have some other things that I have to do today as well. What I did in this chapter, my 2 characters, they made it to this village and it was pretty much a ghost town. They were told that they had to figure out what was going on, problem solve, and help the people that were here. But when they got there, it was a ghost town. It was like it had been attacked, basically. So they were walking around, come to find out that there are still people that are living here, but they are children that are giving a little bit of a backstory of what happened. I like this because it's adding a layer of brutality to the crown, and the kingdom or the crown, the government had wiped out this town, and we don't quite know why, but it will matter to the overall story eventually, and I will get to the reason why they did this a little bit later. In my outline, when I was going through my outline, I wanted to show some of the other villages that were around, show just how much the government, how they abused the smaller towns and the smaller villages. And I feel like I really am digging this part of the story. I think it's going pretty well with me trying to show just how brutal the crown is. Even though it's a mystery right now as to why it's all happening, I can feel it tying together. I feel like we're making pretty good progress. I think it feels pretty good for a first draft. I was nervous at first with it not making too much sense. I'm sure there are things in here that don't make too much sense, but I feel pretty confident with those few subplots that I have now weaved into the story and focusing on that main plot too. I do feel like there's a lot that's going on in the story, but it all goes back to what my main plot is. I am satisfied. I think I have a little bit more of chapter 10, and then I have chapter 11, 12, and 13 or 14, and then I will be finished with the first act. I think I just need 1 more or 2 more 20 to 25-minute sprints and I'll be able to finish chapter 10, and then we'll be able to move on. It is Thursday, July 14th. It's a little past 3 o'clock. I have had a pretty productive day. I've had a slow day, if you can use those 2 words in the same sentence. I have already done a little bit of writing today. I did some writing this morning and I didn't film any of that. I just really wanted to sit and focus and work on my writing. This morning I did 2 sprints. The first sprint was a 20-minute sprint and I finished chapter 10. I love how this chapter ends. I can't remember exactly how much information I've given you guys, but they have made it to the village that they were supposed to get to for this first trial. I finished chapter 10. I did one 15-minute sprint after that, that to start chapter 11. I'm going to continue on with chapter 11. In chapter 11, we are nearing the end of Act 1. So I need to wrap up this village scene to go ahead and move forward with the rest of chapter 11. Have them either returning back to their fort that Norel and this other character have come from, or figure out where I want the rest of that chapter to go. Hello, good morning. Welcome back to, I think, the third or the fourth day. I think it's the fourth day of the vlog. We're going to wrap up the vlog on today, but it is July 16th. It's a little past 10. What my goal for today is, I would like to finish chapter 11 and I would like to write for an hour. I have not written in one day. So I didn't write yesterday, which is unfortunate because I would have liked to. But the reason I want to write for at least an hour is today is the last day of the second week in July, which means my goals are going to reset tomorrow on Sunday. I have already hit my number of days that I would like to write in a week, which is 3 days. If I write for another hour, that means I will hit my hourly goal for the week. And that also means that this would be the first week since I have been tracking my writing that I have written for 4 hours in an entire week's time. I finished chapter 11. I did one 23-minute sprint, and then I set the timer to do one more 22-minute sprint. I finished it at 8 minutes. I went ahead and stopped the timer. I wanted to give you guys that update, that final update. I feel like the story is going in a pretty good direction. My biggest problem is maybe drawing things out a little too long. So when there's one thing that's happening, I'm writing a lot of details about what's actually happening. So I feel like that's why getting through Act 1 is taking me so long. Not necessarily a bad thing. I do think I am writing a lot. It's fine. It's cool. I'm getting momentum and we're learning more about the story. This should be the last chapter or maybe one more chapter in Act 1. So I think what I want to do is do a little bit more outlining the specific scenes that are going to be left in this first act and then leading into Act 2, because I know Act 2 is going to be a beast. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed and you want to be part of my writing journey, go ahead and hit that big red subscribe button, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.